It is exactly at the top of the hour. Welcome to our broadcast at this hour. My name is Abdiaziz. Hashim, the sign language interpreter. At the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Mora. And quickly, I want to take you live to the Milimani Law Courts, where the Inspector General of Police, the DCI boss, that is Amin Mohammed, were expected to appear before the Milimani Law Courts today to explain the whereabouts of the 6 individuals who are allegedly abducted, out of which 5 have been at least released and produced in court. But 1 individual is still unaccounted for. And of course, we want to listen to some of the arguments the legal minds are presenting before the court. Let's listen in.
Time is of the essence. The longer we adjourn, the longer is in jeopardy. And that is a direct infringement on the right in terms of the definition of the right. On the issue of again the revision of the right, information is key, so that right is not derogated. One of the things that you have requested or demanded is that the IG comes to give information to this court. His presence is paramount in order for this right not to be derogated in terms of victim. So Your Honor will be paid for 1 day maximum.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Perhaps before I make the revelation, I will be remiss on duty if I do not extend a very sincere gratitude of my client.
Well, those are some of the legal minds currently arguing their point of view. And of course, the Inspector General of Police, that is Douglas Kanja, was expected to appear before Justice Bahati Mwamuye, as well as the DCI boss, that is Amin Mohammed. And of course, the court proceedings started in the morning, but had to be at least adjourned. And they came back at exactly 12:30. And of course, we do anticipate the justice to give at least a little bit of direction when it comes to the appearance of the security chiefs to explain the recent incidences that have been witnessed in the country when it comes to abduction. But to other news now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has urged youth to join mentorship programs to achieve their full potential in areas of interest. The DP said mentorship is an inevitable phase in the journey of career development and helps in shaping talent. The country's second in command was speaking during a tour of Swahili Port Digital Hub in Mombasa County, where he was assessing the impact of technology in providing job opportunities for the youth in innovation, content creation, business process outsourcing and enterprise development.
It's a very temporary and short-term activity. There is very little that those of us who have reached where God has put us now have left. Our investment, if we want Kenya to stand, if we want Kenya to remain strong and united and prosper, we must prepare these younger people so that they take over the roles we are assuming today, because we will not be here for all the time. True or false? Sisi hatutakuwa hapa milele. Kuna wengine wamekuwa katika nafasi hizi, muda wao umekwisha, wamestaafu, wametoka katika nafasi hizi. So we have a duty as government, as leaders, as parents, to make sure that the things we want these young people to do, we facilitate them, empower them, mentor them, and make it possible for them to realize their dreams.
Elsewhere, the body of a man in his mid-20s has been found in a makeshift structure in the Mwani area of Machakos County. According to locals, the young man was in good health a day before his death. They now attribute his death to excessive consumption of alcohol and drug abuse. Area Assistant Chief John Musembi, while cautioning young people against excessive intoxication, said more than 4 young people have been found dead in the same area in the past few months. His body has been moved to a local mortuary as police commence investigations into the incident.
Kulevya. Sasa hii maneno ya mkukaa na pombe. Na tunasema ya kwamba vilabu vyetu wale ambao wanauza pombe kwa masaa ambayo ifai tuwachukulia hatua.
Hii dawa inatuumiza sana. Tafadhalini tuishi na amani, miwani, na tukae kama mabrada. Tukunywe kwa njia inayostahili na masaa inayostahili, kwa sababu ukikunywa pombe mpaka saa 7 za usiku itakuumiza. Tafadhali, hata pombe yenyewe imeandikwa baada ya kazi.
And on the education front, education stakeholders have warned parents against neglecting their guidance and mentorship duty for their children. Now, speaking in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County, during graduation ceremony for initiates, the education stakeholders urged parents to lead from the front in mentoring and protecting their children to uphold peace in the nation. The stakeholders called for need to have controls even on engagement in social media and the use of proper language that does not undermine the rights of others.
Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, but there has to be some controls. So that is my call, and the church can come in very handy.
They are facing so many challenges, so they need a lot of guidance every day. And also, I urge also all parents to continue leading them into that spiritually.
Mtoto anatakana ajue ni mzazi na mzazi ajue huyu ni mtoto. Wazazi ni kusaidia watoto waweze kuishi kwa nidhamu na waweze kujua namna ya kuishi katika dunia sahihi. Kwa ajili unapata wazazi tumewachilia watoto.
And of course, let's get an update from here, one of the schools in the capital, that is St. Anne's Girls Secondary School, where we were able to dispatch our reporter, that is Joseph Wahungu, to assess the aftermath of what was witnessed yesterday night, where a section of the students were locked out due to school arrears in that particular institutions. Earlier on, Wahungu was able to inform us that the school management as well as the Ministry of Education officials were able to tour that particular area to ascertain what has happened. And of course, in just a few, we'll be linking up with Wahungu. But first, let's take this particular story where stakeholders in the education sector have urged the government to act swiftly in addressing teething challenges bedeviling the implementation of the competency-based curriculum. Led by brilliant Diamond School Principal Joseph Mureithi, the stakeholders say insufficient teaching and learning resources, especially in private learning institutions, has impeded a seamless transition to the new system. This, they say, if not resolved, threatens to plunge the sector in a quagmire. The stakeholders who spoke at a brilliant Diamond School in Juja, Kiambu County, however, commended the curriculum system, terming it as eye-opener to learners.
Of the private institutions, because financially it's quite straining, and government support is highly needed. It's also, it will also help in harmonizing the both private and public schools.
Wazazi wengi hawajakuja kuelewa CBC, tena hawajakuja kuelewa kwa nini walimu wanahitaji materials, hawana pesa, hawana that motivation ya kujua wazazi ndio wanafaa wa motivate watoto wao, si walimu.
CBC, the kids have a chance to explore and know what they're supposed to be doing.
And now to that developing story I was just informing you about, St. Anne's Girls Secondary School, where our reporter Joseph Wahungu is there currently. Wahungu, good afternoon. If you can hear me, what is the current status of that particular institution, especially what was witnessed yesterday night when it came to a section of students who were locked out of that particular institution due to school fees arrears? Over to you, Wahungu.
Oh, thank you very much, Hashim. Indeed, we are coming to you from outside the St. Girls Secondary School in Makadara constituency in Nairobi County. Now, this school behind me has been in the eye of a storm for the last 24 hours, basically due to a clip that went around in social medias showing some students who are said to have been sleeping outside this school after having reported back to school. We have been here for the better part of the morning trying to understand what happened here. We've gathered information that right inside the school, the head teacher right now is having a meeting with officials from the Ministry of Education. We've also seen leaders from this area, including the area Member of Parliament, Mr. Alado, coming here and trying to assess the situation as far as what is happening inside here. So, without much further ado, we have a parent in this school who is going to tell us exactly what is happening from last evening. So, welcome, madam, on set. Tell us what is your name and what is happening at St. Anne's Girls School.
Kwa majina naitwa Elizabeth Njeri. Mimi ni mzazi hapa St. Anne's Girls High School kuanzia 2022. So hii shule iko na shida moja. Mtoto akiriport term ya kwanza lazima kuwa ameclear fees yote. So na sisi kama wazazi na venye hali ya uchumi ni mbaya saizi na tuko na watoto wengine mashule zingine, so hatuwezi lipa hiyo school fees at once. So sisi kama wazazi tunaweza lipa nusu kama installment hivi mara 2 au mara 3 kwa term. But sasa kama tumelipa pesa kidogo, hata ukilipa 20,000 mtoto haruhusiwi kuingia kwenye darasa, hata gate yenyewe huwezi funguliwa. So huyu principal wa St. Anne's ametudhulumu karibu miaka 4 na tumeenda kwa hii kitu hii si mara ya kwanza, imefanyika mara kadha wa kadha, but at least leo tumeona leo.
Na sasa kama mzazi katika hii shule na unaona kwamba tatizo ambalo linaendelea, je, ni hatua gani ambayo ungependa ichukuliwe ili kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wakikuja katika shule hii wanaweza kusoma kama watoto kwingineko nchini?
Napenda serikali iweze kuingilia kati. Hii shule management yake ndio naona inatusumbua kwa sababu management ni mbaya. Wanafaa zetu saizi, so watu hakikishie tunaweza ingiza watoto na pesa kidogo tulipe polepole.
Kwa sasa hebu watoto wanaendelea kusoma ama kuna tatizo huko ndani?
Masomo bado haijarudi kama kawaida kwa
And we do apologize for those technical glitches. It is our very own Joseph Ahungu interacting with the parents at St. Anne's Girls Secondary School after students were locked out of the institution yesterday night due to fees arrears. And of course, you even heard from Joseph there. He was clearly saying that the ministry officials as well as the management of the institutions are currently meeting. And of course, they'll address members of the Fourth Estate later on, and we'll duly inform you in our subsequent bulletins. Now to Kajiado County, where over 6,000 students from secondary schools and universities in the devolved unit have received bursaries from county government totaling to 250 million shillings towards school fees for the new academic year. Speaking during the check issuing ceremony, the Governor Joseph Olelenko, the Governor of Kajiado, called on the Ministry of Education to ensure the school capitation is sent on time to ensure smooth learning.
We continue to allocate resources to education to support the needy families, to support the needy learners, to support the vulnerable families who are not able to provide their children with education. I have directed the Department of Education to make sure that the process of disbursement is completed latest Tuesday next week. So there is a week for the process to take place. Already some checks are ready. Others are in the preparation stage, but by Tuesday, next week, God willing, the 14th of January, all the bursaries, all the scholarships must have been dispersed so that the learners who are beneficiaries are able to access the money to be able to get to school with less difficulties.
Also, a section of women from pastoral communities in northern Kenya have embraced cricket farming as a source of proteins to diversify products for sustainability. The project, which is spearheaded by the Catholic Organization for Relief and Development in collaboration with the International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, says that the initiative has helped women in the semi-arid regions to change their financial fortunes. Cricket farming is not only a source of livelihood but also a source of boosting nutrition owing to its protein value in the wake of the changing climate condition.
Then when we are promoting insects, either for food or feed, we base it on what they already have in the community, so that it's familiar. They're familiar to it. But all we need is to create an environment where they can grow it in larger volumes.
At least tujue venye tutafuga hiyo na tujue venye tutashika hiyo, tujue tupate hiyo biashara, hata kuku zetu zifaidike, hata kuku zetu zipate kenye itakula, na hiyo mayai yao pia iwe kitu nzuri kwa maisha yetu.
Crickets reproduce faster. They have low weight, which basically means that it takes time to accumulate significant weights for their produce. But it is important to have these quantities consolidated together so that you can have aggregated quantities that can make economic sense.
Still in the northern part of the country, the pastoralist communities of Gabra and Dasanach in Dukana and Ileret area in North Ho constituency, Marsabit County, have agreed to end decades of inter-ethnic conflicts and coexist peacefully. Now, speaking during a 2-day soccer tournament at Ileret that brought together at least 6 soccer teams from both communities, Dasanach Peace Community elder, that is Mike Kesho, praised the use of sports as a tool to advocate for peace and social integration. North Horr Member of Parliament Wario Guyo Ade, who spearheaded the final phase of the peace-building process, urged the public to uphold and foster this newfound peace.
Kamiwili tumekaa na amani kati ya Dukana, Ileret na North Horr. Hiyo yote ni juhudi ya Mwenyezi Mungu.
Impira itawajenga jinsi kwa njia ya instruct pamoja, watakuwa na maoni tofauti wata exchange, they will change their minds. Wengine wanaleta akili yao kwa hawa, wengine wana change akili kwa hao. Pia watazungumza mambo ya amani, wanaonaje.
Tunaamini tumeira bastambi ya amani kwa siku ya leo na itadumu. So Gabras, muwe free wakati mnakuja biashara huku. Dasanach, muwe na furaha wakati mnapita North, hakutakuwa na wasiwasi yoyote. Tumeisementi hiyo kwa siku ya leo na tumeamini imeingia.
Meanwhile, a section of stakeholders in Migori County are expressing concerns over what they say are increased cases of maternal deaths in the devolved unit. According to John Okidi, the reproductive health coordinator in Migori County, maternal deaths are still being recorded, particularly among mothers living in remote regions of the county who fail to visit health facilities but resort to home deliveries and unskilled births, contributing to the increased death toll. And of course, on that particular note, we'll share with you that particular story after this short commercial break. But don't go too far. On the other side of the break, we're still keeping an eye on what is happening at the corridors of justice, that is at the Milimani Law Courts, where the IG as well as the DCI boss, Amin Mohammed, were expected to appear. We've just gotten an update from St. Anne's Girls Secondary School after a section of the students were locked out. Parents have conglomerated there, and the officials from the Ministry of Education are also there. And then finally, we're also keeping an eye on the Kenyatta National Hospital, where the country's second in command, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, who was addressing a while ago, was able to talk about the registration of SHA so far. So don't go too far. That and so much more on the other side.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
We have good news for you.
That's how I like. Tulimpata leo around saa 9 hivi asubuhi.
Yes!
Yes! Kaikara does not. He does not forgive easily.
What will you have, my dear?
Let me have the good news first.
I got that monster.
How did you get him?
Has your mother told you that Kaikara has all our phones stopped?
What?
Ukajua tu ile mbuka tumechapia dosi usiku kucha. Hakuna kujamaza jama hapo.
I don't know whether it's me who's being paranoid, but something does not sound right with this whole situation.
Mbona waogopa sana hawa watu?
Safira, unajua mimi sijawahi kupenda vita tangu ni mtoto.
Yaani hivi wataka kusema mtu akikuchokoza wewe utakaa tu umekunja mikono.
Hebu sema ukweli wako. Ulimwambia Kize kwamba mimba ya Karembo ni ya Kalume?
Sasa wazee, mimba msibebe washia nini?
Tosha. Hamjamjua mwenye mimba mpaka sasa. Huruma hii ya Mbura ni ishara tosha.
Kujibu Ni mimi. Hebu mpatie kibao kingine.
Ni Mbura.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, a section of stakeholders in Migori County are expressing concerns over what they say are increased cases of maternal deaths in the county. According to John Okidi, the reproductive health coordinator in Migori, maternal deaths are still being recorded, particularly among mothers living in remote regions of the county who fail to visit health facilities but resort to home deliveries and unskilled births, contributing to the increased death toll. Okidi revealed that many women in the far-flung areas of Migori County continue to opt for home cost associated with skilled births and the long distances to nearby hospitals, calling for better access to health facilities.
As a county, currently we are doing at 85.1%, which leave a gap of 15 mothers where we are not sure where they are delivering. And basically we say they deliver at home, because if you don't have really data to show where they deliver, then definitely that is giving us room that some of our mothers still deliver at home. And if they deliver at home, then we know they're delivering at TBS places. I know as a county we did what we call the mapping up of all the TBS that we have in the county, and we gave them some kind of orientation so that they act as a referral agent of mothers who reach out to their homes for support in terms of delivery and see they link them to the hospital.
We as health workers, we work in our facilities and mothers lose their lives. Most of the time you find that there are major reasons like postpartum bleeding being a major reason. That is when a mother delivers, she bleeds a lot due to reasons that were not prevented during antenatal care or during clinic visits. So you find that when they lose a lot of blood post-delivery, most of them lose their lives.
And now let's come back here to the capital, where the National Assembly is set to hold a special sitting on the 16th of this month to debate vetting reports of new government appointees, among them cabinet secretaries, high commissioners, ambassadors, permanent representative and consul general. Now, last month, President William Ruto made changes to his cabinet, paving the way for the nomination of Mutahi Kagwe to take charge of the Agriculture Ministry, Lee Kinyanjui and William Kabogo to the Trade and Communication Ministries, respectively.
The National Assembly intends to cut short its long holiday to hold a special sitting on 16th of this month. According to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, the special sitting will debate the reports of the relevant committees on appointments, on their consideration of nominees for appointment as cabinet secretaries, high commissioners, ambassadors, permanent representative and consul general. The relevant committees are expected to vet the new nominees before the regular sitting. Also in the tray is the report of the department.
And we apologize for that technical glitch. Indeed, the nominees will be vetted on the 14th and there will be a special sitting on the 16th. We'll duly inform you in our subsequent bulletin. Let's take a look at some of the stories making headlines in the world of business, where there is need to set up sensitization on the use of biodigesters in generating energy from wastewater to deepen its adoption across Kenya. This is according to the EcoCycle Director, Engineer Lucy Wanjiku, who has highlighted the potential of sequencing batch reactor technology to address Kenya's unique wastewater management needs. Engineer Wanjiku, however, says technology should align with the cultural and behavioral patterns of communities it serves. The Kenya Bureau of Standards Finance and Strategy Director Esther Ngari underscored the importance of international collaboration in advancing wastewater management practices.
Through innovative technologies such as biodigesters for energy production and advanced on-site wastewater systems, we are making strides in sustainable water management.
Now, luxury car maker Rolls-Royce will expand its Goodwood factory and global headquarters to meet the growing demand for bespoke models. Rolls-Royce will invest more than 300 million sterling pounds so it can build more highly customized versions of its cars for its super-rich client. Now, here are the details of this and other stories making headlines in the globe.
Rolls sold 5,712 cars in 2024, down from its record of 6,032 in 2023. While those numbers may seem tiny compared with the millions of cars delivered each year by mainstream manufacturers, Rolls-Royce operates in a highly rarefied market. There are relatively few buyers who can afford to buy a Rolls-Royce. Among those who can are celebrities who often do not mind flaunting their wealth. For some customers, simply owning a Rolls-Royce isn't exclusive enough. In recent years, the company has increasingly focused on building highly customized versions of its cars, which can then be sold at even higher prices. Meanwhile, Meta is abandoning the use of independent fact-checkers on Facebook and Instagram, replacing them with X-style community notes while commenting on the accuracy of posts is left to users. Meta Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg said third-party moderators were too politically biased and it was time to get back to our roots around free expression. The move comes as Zuckerberg and other tech executives seek to improve relations with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump before he takes office later this month. Trump and his Republican allies have criticized Meta for its fact-checking policy, calling it censorship of right-wing voices. Finally, crude oil prices rose on Wednesday as supplies from Russia and OPEC members tightened, while data showing an unexpected increase in U.S. job openings pointed to expanding economic activity and consequent growth in oil demand. Brent crude rose 0.5% to $77.42 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude climbed 0.6% to $74.69 a barrel.
Let's come back here to the country, where two water projects worth billions of shillings are under construction in the North Rift region and will support irrigation as well as sanitation when completed. Among the projects are the Moise Bridge Matunda Water and Sanitation Project and the Soy Koschei Water Supply Project that will support farming activities. Water Cabinet Secretary Eric Mugar said the water projects will put an additional 3,000 acres under farming.
His Excellency will be here tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Projects in water, to assess development projects on roads, to assess technical institutions, and to look at affordable housing as some of his key agenda on matters water. Sites that His Excellency the President will come to visit. Notable projects include the Moise Bridge water supply, Matunda water supply, that is a 1.9 billion project, and the contractor has mobilized, brought some materials on site, and we want to assess progress. On matters irrigation, we have to a tune of around 1 billion projects in the region, including Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, and Nandi counties. And we are calling upon all contractors that have been contracted legally to undertake these projects. The challenge we have with these contractors is sometimes the projects take too long to complete, and that is what, as a ministry, we are saying we will not tolerate. We are calling upon consultants who are tasked to supervise these projects to ensure that projects are completed on time so that the people of the Great North Rift can have actually value for their money.
And now finally, let's play. Boniface Mushiri and Ryan Ogam scored a goal each in the second half to earn Harambee Stars a hard-fought 2-0 win over Tanzania last night in their second game of the Mapinduzi Cup ongoing in Zanzibar. Stars had drawn their first match with Burkina Faso 1-1.
A goalless first half, Boniface Mushiri put Stars ahead in the 55th minute, and the win was secured 3 minutes from the final whistle when Ogam netted the second goal. It was Stars' first victory of the tournament, having drawn with Burkina Faso in their opening game, and moves them on equal 4 points with the leaders Burkina Faso. Harambee Stars, who are gauging their strength at the Mapinduzi Cup for the African Nation Championship in February, will play Zanzibar next on Saturday, a day after Tanzania play Burkina Faso.
Ya Zanzibar. Angalia crossi ya Daniel Sakar.
Meanwhile, Football Kenya Federation has formed a 7-member transition committee entrusted with the responsibility of establishing robust governance structures. The committee will be chaired by FKF Vice President McDonald Mariga, with Women Representative Kerubo Momanyi serving as the deputy chairperson. Among the mandates of the committee is to evaluate existing procedures and policies, identifying areas of improvement, and ensuring the uninterrupted functioning of FKF essential systems and processes.
Football teams in Kilifi County have been invited to compete in the Governor's Cup and other football tournaments as the Kilifi County government seeks to reduce the rising numbers of teenage pregnancies and drug abuse among the youth. Speaking at the Marafa Comprehensive School in Magarini constituency, Kilifi Deputy Governor Flora Chibule stated that the county government was committed in ending teenage pregnancies and drug abuse among the youth, as well as identifying and nurturing sporting talents in the devolved unit.
Mtoto yako kijana msichana unayenisikiza siku ya leo haijafungika. We are going to expose you as county government ili tuhakikishe vijana wetu wengi wataonekana katika ligi zetu za Kenya, mchezee Kenya na pia mchezee kimataifa.
Mishahara ya wale wachezaji wana mishahara mikubwa, na wewe pia inawezekana kufikia kiwango kile ukijituma, na sasa tunaweka mikakati ya kuwa na mwelekeo wa kuwatayarisha vizuri uweza kuingia katika njia hiyo.
Tunaweza taka kutambua talanta na mapema, tuweze kuzileta pamoja, kuwafanya vijana waweze kuwa katika utulivu, na pia waweze kuweka amani, wajitoe kabisa na mambo ya mihadarati na mambo ya kufanya mimba za mapema, tuweze kuja kwa pamoja.
And now overseas, where Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta has hailed his team despite the 2-0 home defeat at the Emirates last night that secured a Carabao Cup semi-final first leg win for Newcastle United. Arteta faulted fatigue and the ball's grip as the reason behind the defeat. Alexander Isak put Newcastle United ahead in the 37th minute and with his 14th minute goal in 15 games before Anthony Gordon netted a second to leave Arsenal with an uphill task in the second leg.
Players in there, plenty of red shirts, headed away, then another Newcastle block, then Martinelli blocked by Tonali, and then Saliba blocked in the middle. Danger here, but Dubravka's got the ball eventually. Dubravka hangs it up, and the big boys try to help it on. It's lifted into the area. Here's Isak, it's into the net. Alexander Isak off the bar and in, as Newcastle take the lead in the League Cup semi-final. Now with Murphy. Low ball to Isak in the box. Alexander Isak with a shot saved. Yes! Anthony Gordon has doubled the advantage. Now the cross takes a deflection. Havertz header. Oh, he's got it all wrong. Kai Havertz at the near post.
Important to remind you that the Gunners will be playing Newcastle again at St James's Park. So to the delight of Liverpool, Man City as well as Man United fans will take a second chance in facing off with Newcastle United. Don't forget tonight the first leg in the Carabao Cup. Tottenham will be facing league leaders Liverpool. That concludes our bulletin this afternoon. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Moore. Good afternoon for you for now.
Have you ever dreamt of pumping up your brain power? From improving your memory to speaking more languages? A computer chip in the brain is no longer a distant sci-fi dream, and it could actually be a game changer for people with disabilities. Just recently, a paraplegic man was able to walk again with help from brain implants. And some chips these days even contain human brain cells. AI chips and the brain. That's our topic on Shift. US tech titan Elon Musk wants to optimise our brains with his startup Neuralink. The company's already made a name for itself through spectacular experiments on animals. And now Neuralink has received approval to start clinical trials on humans. And in Switzerland, scientists have helped a paraplegic man walk again using brain implants and AI. Take a look.
His life has been altered dramatically for the second time. Thanks to an experimental procedure linking the brain to the spine with a digital bridge, a paralyzed man is able to walk again.
Within 5 to 10 minutes, I could control my hips. The brain implant picked up what I was doing with my hips, so that was the best outcome, I think, for everyone.
After an accident in 2011, Gyatjan Oskam was paralyzed in both legs. Doctors operated to implant electrodes in the 40-year-old's brain and spine.
There is one surgery at the level of the brain. We do 2 little craniotomy, put electrodes in order to record the brain signal. And another surgery at the level of the spinal cord where we put electrodes on the top of the spinal cord at the place that is responsible for leg movement. So between these two, there is communication, an electrical communication, a digital bridge that is then reactivated the legs.
It's pretty nuts to see just how far this technology has come. A brain-computer interface, or BCI, allows people to communicate with an external machine simply by using their own thoughts. Neuralink, Apple and Google are all developing this technology, but currently the Australian startup Synchron is leading the race. There are already people living with the company's BCI implants in Australia and the US.
Sending an email using thoughts alone. Philip O'Keefe has a nervous system disease known as ALS and can't use his hands or speak clearly. A brain-computer interface gives him a way to communicate.
Previously, to communicate, we've either used our voices or our hands, and now there's an opportunity where if you don't have control over either, you can still communicate. You can use a phone to send text messages. You can use an email to send stories or letters to loved ones.
The Stentrode was first implanted in a human in 2019. Stentrode is transported to the brain through blood vessels, which means open brain surgery is not required.
The Stentrode's unique in that, unlike a lot of other technologies, ours takes advantage of the naturally occurring highway of the body, the blood vessels, to get into the brain without having to do really risky, invasive surgery.
The Stentrode captures brain signals and transmits them through the blood vessels into a unit implanted in the patient's chest. This unit then sends the electrical signals to a computer or other device.
The external system looks at the activity, the electrical activity. It has a database of kind of pre-recorded movements that a patient has been trained to activate and that the system has been trained to recognize. And essentially, if it sees something the patient is intending to do, like a specific movement, it will then send a kind of an output pulse, which can be used to activate a computer control or else something like an exoskeleton.
Synchron's technology is still in the trial phase, but their work gives hope to people with paralysis or other disabilities.
Brain-computer interfaces could also be used by people without physical disabilities. Elon Musk has predicted that one day we could be controlling our smartphones with devices in our brains. While Synchron's work focuses on developing BCIs for medical use, this technology could also be applied to many other areas.
Using our smartphones without even touching them. With the brain-computer interface, this could someday be a reality for everyone.
A lot of people who don't have any disabilities are interested in using devices like ours to connect with their computers or connect with their home environments. Certainly that's not what we're doing. We're doing it for medical benefit. There's no reason to think that this technology won't be adapted and adopted by other companies who are making it for that purpose.
This technology could have many applications because it could control more than just computers.
Essentially everything and anything electronic at all. Currently we're using it to kind of enable patients to use a communication device, but this could also be put towards something like smart home systems if you wanted to turn on your lights, or if you needed to control a wheelchair or other kind of assistive technologies.
While some dream of using brain-computer interfaces for human augmentation, Synchron solely focuses on medical applications, and there is much to be explored in the field. So far, the Stentrode is only recording signals from the brain. But what if the device sends signals into the brain?
If you put stimulation or electrical current into the brain, you can prevent things like seizures or tremors. And so that's obviously an application for us. We can get to almost any region of the brain through the blood vessels, and so it's not unrealistic to think that we can record when a seizure might happen, for example, and then provide stimulation to stop it.
Detecting and helping treat neurological disorders could be just one of many ways brain-computer interfaces might be used in the future.
Computer chips are used in a variety of technologies such as virtual reality or artificial intelligence. They need to be quick and ideally use as little energy as possible. Cortical Labs, a startup from Melbourne, modelled its chips on the fastest and most energy-efficient computer out there, the human brain. The system is called DishBrain and combines silicon chips with human neurons.
A computer chip that needs to be fed with unusual sustenance. The DishBrain receives human brain cells, so this chip is somewhat alive.
They're certainly alive in the sense that these are living biological neurons on the chip. That doesn't mean, of course, that they're conscious or like a human in a dish, but it does mean that we can use them to be able to test for stuff like the effects that drugs might have on them or model how diseases are.
Unlike other companies that try to recreate neural networks, Cortical Labs uses real human brain cells. These can be made from a simple blood donation. The neurons are placed on a fingertip-sized microelectrode array that can send and receive electrical impulses. To test the dish brain's ability to learn, the team used the classic video game Pong. A paddle needs to be moved up and down in order to hit a ball. Dish brain was taught with electrical impulses. Cortical Labs wants to develop the next generation of AI chips by creating what they call synthetic biological intelligence. Just like our brains, the dish brain is extremely energy efficient and can react very quickly. And that's thanks to evolution.
If you were, say, a hunter-gatherer in the savannah and you saw a tiger or a lion in the bush, you would have only 2 seconds to make a decision to either fight or run from this animal. And so if you didn't, you would be eliminated from the gene pool. And so as a result of that, we just evolved to be very good at processing information at very short periods of time.
Hybrid biological chips could be a more sustainable and efficient solution in fields such as robotics. But they could also be useful when testing new drugs.
So if you have something in an in vitro or in a dish model and you can actually test it out before you put it into a human and have an increased chance of success, I think this is going to be a game changer for the industry.
A chip that learns fast and is energy efficient, Cortical Labs hopes Dish Brain will mark the beginning of a chip revolution.
For a long time, the tech industry has tried copying human intelligence to develop artificial intelligence, machines that can think and act like us. Cortical Labs has a different approach. Dish Brain uses the advantages of biological intelligence over AI.
There are some 86 billion neurons in the human brain. Whenever we learn something new, they automatically connect with each other and build neural pathways in a fast and energy-efficient way. Cortical Labs says their hybrid biological chips do the same.
They're highly adaptable, able to learn with minimal power consumption, and can do it with relatively few samples, especially compared to machine learning or artificial intelligence.
While artificial systems need to be trained with large sets of data, biological systems don't. This means they are more sample efficient.
What sample efficiency is how much information does a system, either an artificial intelligence system or a biological intelligence system, require in order to learn from and make intelligent tasks from it. And so these biological systems have been shown to actually have significantly higher efficiencies, thereby requiring less data.
Over millions of years, our brains learn to react to an ever-changing environment. So just like us, the dish brain is more adaptable than artificial intelligence.
We've done tests where we've taken it from playing Pong to playing another game, and we've actually seen in incredible time how the system adapts and changes its behavior for this new game in just a few minutes.
AI is more limited in that regard. Through the time-consuming process of machine learning, it is programmed for specific tasks. The dish brain, however, could easily be used for a variety of applications.
Many people are fearful that artificial intelligence could become too intelligent and powerful. But if AI has the potential to improve our lives, that's a positive thing, right? For me, the prospect of helping people with neurological disabilities is especially worthwhile. It could have made life a lot easier for both my dad and my grandma. So what's your take? Would you want to put a chip into your brain? To be honest, I'm excited to see what comes next. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Monaghan Farm on the outskirts of Johannesburg is a 1,300-acre space that will only develop 3% of the land. This leaves the rest of the land in its natural state and undisturbed, creating a sense of belonging for homeowners and for a beautiful view of the landscape. But before we move on to the nitty-gritty part of the house and how this farm addresses sustainability, let's visit Kenya to see how one woman's vision enables the detailed work of craftsmen to morph into the latest must-have accessory.
Our bags are Akire. Everything we do is handmade. There's no machine.
Erica Akath, known for her concept store in Nairobi, has since 2020 brought new handcrafted luxury bags onto the market. Wanting to work with leather, she has collaborated with Moses Ekwi, creating the 7 different bespoke handcrafted bags.
I came up with Akire, the handcrafted leather bags, because when I looked at the market, I understood that I wanted to make a bag that will speak of the African continent without going deeper. I evolved to becoming a designer because I was working with the Turkana women for roughly 2 to 3 years, and I liked the weaving. So the weaving is very different from other parts in Kenya. Here we are at the workshop. Erica here is with Ekwi, and this is like a symbiosis relationship where it works perfectly. We work in harmony.
To make the bag, you require materials, the right material. When I get the right material, I come with it. Then I apply the dye. I slice the material, then I start doing the stitching. When I'm buying this material from the tannery, it's usually this color, and then it comes to me. I try and make it look appealing. I apply the dye, then it becomes like this. It makes me happy and gives me hope to see that Akire appreciates what I do for her. It makes me want more to improve on this product. This piece of metal is used to smoothen the edges of the material after stitching.
So this is like the finished product, where we'll do the other leather to hold this. Because the beadwork is done by the Maasai people. Then he's going to make the patching, as you have watched earlier. Then we do the stitching, and then it comes to this product. So that is raw, that is almost done. Then you get here. You can see the amuka. This is almost done because the craftsman has cut them, but this process is the most difficult. So we said it takes a lot of days because to do that we have a mold, but to have a mold we use a sculpturist. So it's a wood sculpturist before we pour this, and then it becomes a mold. Everything is handmade, and you'll understand why it's luxury, because it's somebody's sweat, and everything is to details. The collection for Akire is for everyone, but also at the same time, my bag was created for the people who are cultured, they're awake, and they still want to keep the tradition for themselves. As you can see, it takes roughly 18 days to finish the Amuka collection. Yes. It's basically a piece of home anywhere I go. And the fact that it's made in Kenya just makes it more worth it, and it's quite interesting and quite African, and I can wear it with anything.
My favorite aspect is the face.
right? The face looks like it's going from a traditional aspect of storytelling to the future. That's my most favorite part about it.
Creating these, it's everything. I wake up in the morning, I sleep with it. So it's constantly not disturbing, but it's constantly in your mind. Like, what will I improve? What am I missing?
Fashion and function, my absolute favorite. And that is what Afrimax is all about. The new generation shaking up what creativity is all about.
Hapo ni kwa kusign, nikichukua kama nachukua rims 2, huwa na sign hapo nimechukua 2. Lakini
hakuna cha lakini. Ngoja. Hakuna cha lakini, asiweke lakini. Sasa utatufundisha vile tutafanya kazi hapa.
Lakini mimi hapana fanye huko.
Hii nayo huwezi kitoa. Hii ukita hata ukondoe macho, hii huwezi kitoa. Askari. Na kulisha namna hivi. Wewe ni mwalimu hapo.
Umeniita aje?
Askari.
Alafu mheshimiwa, wewe naona mimi na sasa heka. Mimi nilikuwa na kijana moja. Na yeye alikuwa na mitoto 3.
Ulikuwa na hivyo kitu umeseka. Market hakuna kitu nimeipa na akamalizia amathifu. Kwa hivyo mheshimiwa, mimi sitaipa.
Is broken up, it's calling out your name.
Katika mlango wa kuwafanyia wazazi wema, tumeamrishwa tuwaheshimu na pia tuwakirimu na tuwazungumzishe kwa kauli za heshima na pia kauli zenye kuwaonyesha kuwa tunawapenda hata watakapokuwa wao ni wazee.
Na wazazi wawili kuwafanyia wema. Lakini mu'sifun jiddan, inasikitisha mno sana anajida tupate mtu na hiyo ndo wake.
Allahumma salli ala sayyidina ya Mustafa.
Fika hapo ni kwa kusign, nikichukua kama nachukua rims 2, huwa na sign hapo nimechukua 2. Lakini
hakuna cha lakini. Ngoja. Hakuna cha lakini, asiweke lakini. Sasa utatufundisha vile tutafanya kazi hapa.
Lakini mimi hapana fanye huko.
Hii nayo huwezi kitoa. Hii ukita hata ukondoe macho, hii huwezi kitoa. Askari. Na kulisha namna hivi. Wewe ni mwalimu hapo.
Umeniita aje?
Askari.
Alafu mheshimiwa, wewe naona mimi na sasa heka. Mimi nilikuwa na kijana moja. Na yeye alikuwa na mitoto 3.
Ulikuwa na hivyo kitu umeseka. Market hakuna kitu nimeipa na akamalizia amathifu. Kwa hivyo mheshimiwa, mimi sitaipa.